Okay, welcome to the December 19th chat. And we have a number of announcements. And I want to remind you now that as Tara Fleming Caruso told you last week, we are privileged to have a presentation by the Woke Memory Group. And that will occur right after we finish Matt's presentation. So hang on, and it should be very interesting. So we have announcements. We start with Judith Kahn. We can't hear you. I see you're here. We'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes, please.
Go ahead. Now you're on.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks. My computer's a little bit dicey today. Thank you, Jerry, and hello, everybody. Today I have a couple of announcements, so it's a twofer. Here's my usual monthly announcement. I'd like to remind everyone that the Hadassah Shabbat Study Group is going to be meeting this Saturday in the synagogue from 2 until 3. And we usually run over because these are pretty lively discussions. But anyway, we will start at 2. We're fortunate this week, Janet Cheel is going to be presenting on women and ritual garb, tali, tefillin, and kippah. So that should be a very interesting discussion, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of participation. Let me see. Yes. For those who are using the study guide, and it's not required, it's not necessary to do that, but for those who are using the Moonbeam study guide, the topic is covered in chapter 2, and there's some interesting questions that might stimulate some thinking. So if you're reading that. Again, everybody is welcome to the meeting, and you needn't be a Hadassah member in order to come. I would especially like to reach out to women who are new in the community. This is a great group of people, and it's a terrific opportunity also for making some new friends here at Newbridge. So please consider coming. Again, that's the Hadassah Shabbat study meeting, 2 o'clock this Saturday in the synagogue. Now, the second group that I would like to announce for is the Nonfiction Reading Circle, which meets in the library. This is a fairly new group, but it does have some legs. We've been getting a good number of people. And I wanted to let you know that our next meeting is Friday, December the 27th. Now that's a way off. So for those who might be interested, you'll have some time to pick up the book and to read it. The selection we have for this month is called The Confidant. It's a book by Christopher Gorham. And some of you may remember he came and presented the book shortly after it was published. It's about a woman named Anna Rosenberg. And she is a woman who's, well, not so public life, but government life, spanned 3 different presidencies. She started working with FDR and went all the way through to LBJ. So that's quite a career that she had in government. And what's especially interesting about her is, despite some really monumental contributions to the shaping of the United States during those years, she's pretty much a figure lost to history. So the group is going to be taking on a discussion of her accomplishments and her character, and also addressing the mystery of why she's been so forgotten. I think that this can be a really interesting group together, and I'd encourage people to come. It's December 27th from 3 until 4. That's in the library conference room. So please join us for some cookies, lemonade. We're have a little bit of refreshments for these meetings. And even if you haven't read the book, I think you'll be able to engage in the discussion, and you'll be able to catch the flavor of the group and help us choose for the next month. We alternate months with the other library group, which is the Murder and Mayhem Mystery Book Group. And so we'll probably give you an announcement about that fairly soon too. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Judith. We'll move on to Jerry Solmers. Need to unmute, Jerry.
Mute me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Tomorrow, as I think we all know now, is the Staff Fall Appreciation Day. And this week, all the staff will have received, all those who are eligible will receive their gifts of appreciation from the Appreciation Fund. All of you this morning should have received stickers in your cubbies. And we're hoping that everybody will wear them tomorrow on the campus all day long as an expression of our appreciation, specifically to the staff. It's the first time we've done this, and we think it will elicit comments from them. And of course, we encourage people to express their own personal feelings to members of the staff. And I'd like to, on behalf of the Appreciation Committee, which is Bob Brown, Ruthie Glazeman, Jim Harrison, Alan Canningsburg, Bob Orcan, Michael Ross, and myself, we'd like to thank everybody that's contributed to this. As you know, we received $200,000 this year to be distributed this fall, and all the checks will have been received, we hope, by the end of tomorrow. So let's celebrate our appreciation of our staff and celebrate our staff tomorrow. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. And Mitch Friedman. I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I couldn't do it. Anyhow, Jerry, my little update here is that we're not doing a good job recycling in the trash room. I've done some dumpster diving there. How Republic wants it done to do it correctly, when you have trash in brown bags, you have to empty those bags in the bin. If you have recycled stuff in a brown bag and leave it that way, it's going into the dump. They don't open the bags. So make sure you empty the brown bags into the bin and do that. And if you see somebody who hasn't done it, just empty their bags too until we get this resolved with the aides who don't understand the procedure to get things done. Too much is not being done right. I'd also like to mention that in the 5,000 building, and I think in one of the others, there's a white bucket by the mailboxes to recycle batteries, hearing aid batteries, regular batteries. So don't forget to recycle your batteries there. And the other last thing I like to do is, we had 3 months with a drought. We got some rain, but it's hard to make up for a drought. So I just want to say we got to watch what we use for water, and we don't need people taking half-hour showers. You can be in and out quicker. And we got to save a lot of water because we're still in a drought. It's a long climb back. All right, Jerry, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mitch. And Herb Glickman.
Thank you, Jerry. And good afternoon, everybody. We're fast approaching the end of the year when most of us decide to make our tax-deductible contributions. And I know there are literally hundreds of organizations that you might consider, but I ask you if you would please consider a homegrown organization. That's the Newbridge Scholarship Fund. This is a fund that enables our Newbridge hourly employees to further their education. We all value the education, and we know that the education makes a big difference in their lives. So please consider, if you haven't already, making a tax-deductible contribution to the scholarship fund. You can write your check to the Newbury Scholarship Fund and put it into the donation box in the mailroom. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Rabbi Judy Ehrlich.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I have several announcements to make, but basically they are about Hanukkah and the many events that we're going to be holding during those 8 days. There, as you know, 8 days of Hanukkah, and I sent out the schedule for candle lighting yesterday. On that schedule, there we have certain challenges just to keep you on your toes. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 4 different Hanukkah candle lighting locations. So each day, please check to make sure you go to the right place. On Wednesday, because it is also Christmas, and many of our staff, or basically most of our staff, are not here because they're celebrating their holiday, we will be having a very modest first night of Hanukkah celebration. We won't be having our latkes and hot cider as we normally do for our Hanukkah first night kickoff. But don't worry, we'll have that on the second night. I hope you'll be there to join me in lighting the first candle, which will be in the synagogue. I won't go through all of the days, but just broadly speaking, we have 3 nights in the synagogue, and we have 2 nights in assisted living, 2 nights in Great Meadow Hall, and on Tuesday night, which is New Year's Eve, we won't be able to be in Great Meadow Hall or the synagogue because of the big event to follow. We will be in Winter Garden for a more simple 7th night of Hanukkah candle lighting. But even though we're not having a lot of fanfare at every single night, each night counts, and I hope that you will join in and be there. One particular night I wanted to highlight is the Friday night communal Shabbat Hanukkah dinner, which will take place in Great Meadow Hall. The candle lighting will take place at 4:45 before the 5 o'clock Shabbat service begins. We will have our guest cantor will be cantorial soloist Lisa Marcus, also of Judy Goldman fame. And she will be staying for the communal dinner and doing a musical Hanukkah program afterwards, which I'm sure you will find really terrific. So Josh will tell you more about this event. It is a communal Shabbat dinner where we do begin with one Shabbat song and we end with an abbreviated grace after meals, which you can either join in or leave before if you don't want to. It should be really nice. The past few years, we've had wonderful Hanukkah Shabbat dinners, and I look forward to dining with you there and celebrating the holiday. So I hope you've kept all those different locations straight, but don't worry, every day in the daily calendar, you will find out where and when exactly the event will take place. See you there.
Thank you, Rabbi. And just before we move on to hear from Josh about the dinner and other things, I want to introduce to you Hannah Silver, who is the program coordinator for volunteer youth and community engagement at Hebrew Senior Life. And she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does, and I think about what you might do. Go ahead, Hannah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Jerry. It's nice to meet some of you. It's good to see others. Like Jerry said, my name is Hannah. I work in the volunteer engagement office, and I work really closely with the Rashi Newbridge relationship. And Rashi came to me the other day asking if we had any residents who might be interested in running after-school programs. So after-school programs usually consist of between 8 to 12 kids per class, and they're looking for people for the spring. So it would run from April to June. It would start at 3:15 or 3:30 and run for about an hour. And we're looking for some people who want to teach anything interesting. Maybe you want to teach kids how to crochet. Maybe you want to teach kids about photography. Anything that you can think of that might be interesting to the kids, let me know. So I'm going to put my email in the chat, but it's Hannah Silver at hsl.harvard.edu. And I also am going to put interest forms right outside of our office. So if you are interested, feel free to come by and fill one out. And that way I'll know who to be in touch with. And I can give you much more details then, and we can talk more. But if you are at all interested, you should for sure contact me. Faye, do you want to speak quickly about the best way to find our office?
Actually, that's what I was going to say. You should say where the office is. It happens to be right out near the Winter Garden and near where Treats used to be, but many of the new people don't know what Treats is. But anyhow, near where Coffee Connection is. So that's a good place to go see Hannah.
Yeah, and if you can't find us for whatever reason, I just unblurred my background, by the way, so you can see it. Our door is right here, so right by where the staff get lunch. But if you can't find me for whatever reason, any of the staff should be able to get my email, and Faye and Jerry both have it as well. So please be in touch if you're interested at all in teaching an after-school program. The kids would love to see you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Are there any questions of Hannah before we move on? Yes, Mayor Fine. You have to unmute, Mayor.
I unmuted him. Oh, well.
If you tilt your camera up, they can see the word treat above your head. Up on the wall. There's treats.
Right where it says treats. And here's the walkway above me. I don't know if that helps.
Okay, we'll move on. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to Josh Ferraro.
Thank you, Jerry. Pretty busy day going on with all this information, so I will try to be as brief as possible. And good afternoon, everybody. Basically, just want to talk about a lot of the upcoming events during these winter holidays, where to find the information for them. So I'm going to kind of get right into it. I'm going to share my screen and offer some insight using the dining website. Okay. Jerry, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm on the homepage of the Newbridge Dining website. It can be accessed using the community app, formerly known as Touchtown. But sometimes there are little delays in accessing it. So if you ever have trouble when you're using the community app, you can also go right to the dining website, nbocdine.org. And you can save that on your desktop as a shortcut. That's typically how I access the dining website for information. And that's how I recommend if anybody is having connectivity issues going through the community app. What I want to highlight is that as soon as you get on the dining website, you're going to see the banner and there's a number of special events going on. And I'm just going to go in order pretty much of how they're coming up. So next Wednesday, we have a holiday brunch in Centro. So if you need information about that, if you click on the Centro Holiday Brunch, it will take you to the events page with the date, the time, the menu, and then some general information about the event. Reservations required, how to make those reservations, whether or not family and guests are welcome, and then any seating capacities based on anticipated counts. This information will also go out in the weekly dining communications. But the nice thing about the Denning website is if there's any updates or additional information, it gets posted here. If I go back to that home screen and I want to find out about the upcoming Hanukkah communal dinner, that's the one that Rabbi Judy had just referenced. I can click on that. This is going to take me to this website, and this is very similar to the Friday Shabbat dinner order process. So the menu and the order form is located right here for you. You can click on these items if you so choose and print from home. We'll also have some of these order forms available down at the Nosh as well. But again, without going into too much detail, the menu for next Friday's Shabbat dinner and the order form are right here for you to view and access. Moving on, we get to New Year's Eve, and we have two dining events going on New Year's Eve. We have the kosher Chinese buffet. So if you were to click on that first one, again, it gives you the date, the time. The first part that you'll come up to is what we're serving that evening, and then some details. Reservations are required. You can contact Nosh at 49101 to reserve your space, or visit them during the day at their host inn. And that it's an IL resident dining event, and 8 seats maximum per table. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the New Year's Eve Gala. This is the one where you will register online, and this is very similar to the Interfaith Dinner event, which is happening tonight. But a couple of weeks ago, I got on the Zoom chat and presented how to sign up electronically for that event. And I want to thank everyone, Steve O'Hara and Mark at the concierge desk included, for offering technical support. But of the 160 residents we have in Interfaith Dinner tonight, they all signed up electronically. Some did it on their own. Some needed a little technical support, but we were very glad to see everyone was able to access and sign up for it. So if I were to click on the New Year's Eve Gala in Great Meadow Hall, the details of that will come up, the date, the time, the menu, courses. This is a prefixed tasting menu, so you do not need to make menu selections. We will be presenting these menu items to you along with wine pairings for each course, a toast, and of course there will be entertainment after. So these are the details. Purchasing tickets for your household only, and there will be a place where you can request seating preferences, who you'd like to be sat with on the order form, which I will do an example. The charges, when those charges should hit, and then once obviously they're charged, those are non-refundable. We're asking that you RSVP by Friday, December 27th. An email confirmation will be sent to you if you register correctly. If you don't get that email confirmation, it may mean there was an issue with the process. And thank you again, Steve, for offering to be a technical support, and myself as well, if you are having any technical support. But if I've decided that this is the New Year's Eve dinner I want to attend, I'm going to sign up myself and someone from my household. So in my world, Eileen's office is right next to me. So I consider Eileen to be in my household. So I'm going to purchase 2. And once I've selected the 1 or 2, I'm going to hit get tickets. I would sign myself up first. So my first name, my last name, my unit number. I'm over in the 5,000 desk, so I'll just put that admin. If I wanted to be seated with Jerry Weiner, I would just put Jerry's last name here. That's who I'd like to be seated with. You're going to confirm that you understand the account will be charged 48 hours prior, and once charged, refunds will not be applicable. And then after I've signed myself up, I'm going to sign Eileen, who is my roommate over here. She's going to kill me. I misspelled her name. 5,000 buildings. So just repeating what I just went through. We're going to ask that we get sat with Jerry's table. We understand that we will be charged for this event to our account. And then the final step, once you've completed that information, is to check out. The last step, so that you ensure that you get the email confirmation and know that your order has been processed, is you definitely want to put in your name and email, confirm that that is accurate. That will ensure that you get the email confirmation sent to you. Once I've done that, I will simply hit place order. Sometimes you do have to give it a moment. It needs a minute to work. The little wheel spin, and try not to double click until this is what you're looking for, okay? So now that you see checkout and order details, this will also get sent to you in email, but this is how you can confirm that your order was processed, and now we have it on our end that you will be attending. Again, I really appreciate Steve O'Hara making himself available for technical support. Myself as well. Our numbers are included in there for technical support. And Jerry, I did stop sharing at this point, so I can open it up to any questions.
Yeah, any questions of Josh or anybody that we've missed? Oh, Linda Weinstein.
Okay. My question deals not with food, but with the entertainment. Last year there was music. Is that going to be available this year?
Yes, Linda, that will be on the flyer and is included that the entertainment is there in Great Meadow Hall as well. Yes.
And that is available to anybody who wants to go, even if they eat in Nosh.
Well, so yes, what we did last year and what we expect to do this year is we'll have a few chairs set around the room. It really just depends the amount of room, though, based on how many people sign up for the gala. There'll be tables of 8. So there's a stage set up and then all the tables of 8, depending on how many attend the gala, could theoretically limit the amount of space for people coming in just for the entertainment after. So while we do anticipate setting up as many seats as possible for those who want to come in after, we do have to keep in mind the amount of space is dependent on the attendance for the gala.
Okay, any other questions?
And me.
Okay, Arthur Lustig.
Yeah, hi, Josh. If I understand, you put down one person you would like to be seated with, which is Jerry. Suppose you'd like to be seated with 4 other people. Do you list the people whom you would like to be sitting with?
Yeah, you're lucky. You have more friends here. Jerry's the only guy that usually allows me to sit with him. So yeah, that would be the best practice. Unless it's definitive that there's a quote unquote host person, or it can't hurt. So if you put all the people you'd like to be seated with, that information automatically gets downloaded into a spreadsheet. And then when we're putting the table assignments together, we'll see that. So Art, and you can certainly use resident's last name or first initial and last name if it's a more common last name. But that's a great point, Art. And you can certainly add, there's room to add additional names. Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Can I speak?
Listen, before I take that, I want to, seems like we've lost sight of the way to show your hand. So, and it helps us not miss anything if you go to a place called React at the bottom, and you'll see that there's a whole bunch of things there, including raise hand. And if you, please listen to me, please. If you will check raise hand, it does several things. I'm looking at 2 pages because of pictures, because there are 88 people here, and I won't see people waving their hand on the second page. But if you click raise hand, your picture will be immediately brought to the very top of the first page, and we can recognize Nancy. Go ahead.
I just want to know if there's dancing at what kind of an entertainment are we talking about? Is there a band? Is it dancing? Is it a DJ?
Thank you. It is a live band, and the dance floor will be set up as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I believe the band's name will be on the flyer that's being distributed out on the TVs. Our piece on this end is more the dining piece and menu. The flyer that will be sent out will include the band's name.
I'm sorry, I entered this last, and I just moved here this week, so I'm but anyway, when can we sign up for it?
Well, as soon as this Zoom chat is over, the website is live and should be able to receive it. So great question, and thank you, Nancy, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Matt, we're ready for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Nancy. Welcome to Newbridge.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you tonight in Great Meadow Hall. That's going to be quite a gathering. There's a lot of us going, so that's going to be a lot of fun. A couple things on my docket to share with you today. Nothing too heavy, but just to keep you all in the know. We are expecting still the state elevator inspector to come on in at the end of the month finish the elevator inspections, and then at that point, the entire community has been inspected, which is great. Again, this is an annual process that the Commonwealth does. Sometimes they're not very timely. This year they are. So if you happen to call an elevator and it's taken a little bit of time to get to you, and you see a group of men standing around, they're actually doing something. Those are the elevator inspectors, and please just be patient. We want safe elevators and we want them here. So this is good news, and hopefully we'll button that up very shortly for you all. I also wanted to let everybody know, since we are coming into some HSL holidays, the housekeeping holiday coverage schedule goes into play. So if you have housekeeping scheduled for Wednesday, December 25th, units for cleaning on Wednesday, December 25th will take place on Thursday, December 26th. Units scheduled for cleaning on Thursday, December 26th will resume on Thursday, January 2nd. This will also be attached in my letter for your convenience. I recommend printing it out if you can, because we have a lot more than just a few holidays in the course of a year. So this is a very helpful document. And then for Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, units scheduled for cleaning will take place on Friday, January 3rd, and units scheduled for cleaning on Friday, January 3rd will resume on Friday, January 10th. And again, for those of you that haven't seen this before, this will be included in my, can't see it now because my thing's all blurry. This will be included in my letter. So there's a link there. Very helpful. Even if you just save it to your desktop, you'll find that it'll give you all the information for the upcoming year so you can plan accordingly. With the holidays, I also have some time off coming up. So the kids are at home on holiday break, which means I'm gonna do my best to keep everybody sane and be home and hang out with the family. We're not going anywhere or doing anything extravagant, just kind of keeping the peace around there. So if there's an urgent need for something, I will be keeping my eyes on it a little bit. But Jess Coleman will be here. She's got the reins. And then everybody knows that Lynette, my executive admin, knows more than I do and is a lot more productive than I am. So if you need something, she's a tremendous go-to. So don't be shy about reaching out to her. I also want to jump on to something that Herb announced earlier. Herb was talking about the scholarship fund. I think everybody understands the impact that this has for our employees. The scholarship fund is one of those things that makes working at Newbridge just an exceptional experience for our employees, particularly our young people. They come in, they work here, they develop phenomenal relationships with the residents, with the peers and coworkers that they're working with, and the community gets behind them and shows the support through the scholarship fund, which is so impactful, particularly when it comes to recruiting, because as much as I wish that the senior living industry or sector was at the top of everyone's mind when it comes to workforce, it's not. So we have to work really hard to attract great talent, and we do. And then the thing that I'm most proud of is we do an exceptional job retaining the people that we have here. And a big reason for that is not just the culture that the leadership sets, but it's the culture that you all set. It's the scholarship fund. It's the appreciation fund. It's the relationships you build. It's that you ask about how they're doing in school, how their family members are doing. The impact for our young people and our employees, it's just downright incredible. And so to the scholarship fund, thank you for all the work you're doing. For those that are donating, it means a great deal. And we even had a resident who made a very generous donation that'll help in terms of a match. So there's a notice that'll also be in my letter that's called Double Your Impact, Double Our Fund. And it says donate to the $10,000 match. All donations of $250 or more received before December 31st, 2024 will be matched dollar for dollar. So that's pretty awesome. That's a phenomenal thing that's happening there. As a reminder, if you write a check, donations can be made at the mailbox areas. There's boxes there that they can be deposited. And just know that the impact that it has on our workforce, it's just incredible. And it's not just our workforce, to be quite honest with you. It's the future of our society. Everybody knows how important education is. This one goes a long way. Okay, I'm going to move on from that one. I'd also want to remind everybody just that one-stop shop is really a critical tool for making sure that we maintain this community as best we possibly can. And you can contact One Stop Shop through two different avenues. One is to call the front desk at 49500, and you can tell them anything you see that's wrong. Carpet stain, wet ceiling tile, ice outside on the road that needs attention, furniture that's misplaced, windows that need to be cleaned, a challenge in your apartment, anything like that. It's how we get our eyes everywhere. We count on you. And then our maintenance, our housekeeping teams, everybody involved can get out there and do what they have to do. The other way is through the Touchtown app. You'll actually see a link on there that is called One Stop Shop. And I beg all of us, and I tell our employees this all the time too. Don't accept something as status quo. If it doesn't look right to you, please put in a message to One Stop Shop so we can get our eyes on it. We can either fix it or make a plan to have it fixed in the future. And so with that, Jerry, I know everybody's eager to get down to Great Meadow Hall, so I will take any questions that might be out there right now.
Okay, Barbara Nadich.
Could you give us a COVID update?
Sure. So post-Thanksgiving, we've been very lucky. COVID has not been rampant in the community by any means. It's been almost non-existent. We have 2 people that are positive with COVID right now in independent living. I suspect that they will not be positive very long because it's pretty much, I believe, run its course at this point. And those 2 individuals reside in the same household. So right now we are looking phenomenal on that front. With that being said, knock on wood, number 1. And number 2, keep doing what everybody's doing to keep yourselves and everybody around you safe.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, Barb.
Any other questions? Okay, then we're going to move on to Tara Fleming Caruso, who's going to introduce Rachel Fox about the Wolk memory.
Great, thanks, Jerry. So I'm going to pass the baton pretty quickly here, just introducing Rachel Fox, and she'll be joined shortly by Linda Howe. They're going to give a short presentation on the Wolk Center and their new program, which focuses on brain health and wellness coaching, which I'm curious to learn more about myself. There will be some time for questions afterwards. They have just a handful of slides, so stick around. Rachel, passing it on to you.
All right, thank you so much, Tara. Let me pull up this PowerPoint.
You're all set. Good.
There we go. All right, thank you so much. Glad you guys can see that. Thank you for having me here today. I'm very excited to share with you all a bit more about the Deanna and Sydney Wolk Center for Memory Health here at Hebrew Senior Life. Some of you might know us, some of you may not. So I just like to share a bit about what we are and everything that's available to you if you'd like to take advantage of it. So first off, the Wolk Center for Memory Health is a part of Hebrew Senior Life. We're an outpatient specialty clinic focused on brain health. And we have a very interdisciplinary team of clinicians. You can see them all there in that flower petal, blue flower petal. And we aim to be a one-stop shop for all of your cognitive and memory concerns, both for patients and for their families as well. We're here for patients and families at absolutely every stage, whether you already have a diagnosis from a doctor, you or your family are concerned about changes in your cognition, or you just want to check up and see how your brain health is doing. We cover it all. One thing I do want to mention is the importance of getting a checkup on your brain health early or engaging in preventative measures. It's been shown that the brain pathology, or the changes in your brain that cause Alzheimer's disease, start 20 years before symptoms start, which means probably most, if not all of the people in this Zoom right now have some of those changes in your brains at this exact moment. However, it takes time to actually see or notice these changes. Some of you might have a couple memory concerns now, some of you might in a few years, and some of you will never see changes. That's of course what we hope for. Despite that, It's never too early or too late to get a checkup on your brain health. Just like you go to the doctor for your physical every year, or you get a checkup on your heart, your brain's a vital organ that most people don't get checked out until they have symptoms. And while we still do whatever we can to help and treat patients that are having these symptoms, wouldn't it be better if you did something to prevent ever having those symptoms in the first place? Though we can't turn back the clock on the pathology in your brain, research has shown making changes and improvements to your lifestyle can prevent or delay getting dementia by over 45%. That's almost half. For people that have already seen changes in their cognition, having a good lifestyle for your brain health can delay the decline and progression by about 40%, which is also pretty high. We've recently opened a program focused on prevention that assists you in making these beneficial lifestyle changes, which is our lifestyle coaching that I myself am running. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but first I want to tell you, in addition to preventative measures, we also have a team led by our cognitive neurologist and medical director, Dr. Alvaro Pasqualeone. I'm sure many of you recognize that name, that focuses on getting you the right diagnosis, if you need one. If you go to your primary care provider with memory concerns, they may just give you a broad diagnosis of dementia. Here at the Wolk Center, though, we individualize the diagnosis process through biomarker testing and more, so that we can find your exact diagnosis and get you the right treatment. Knowing the right diagnosis not only means that you get that right treatment to best help, but it also means we know more about how it will progress over the coming years. With our person-centered diagnosis, you can be empowered with your diagnosis instead of getting a one-fits-all blanket diagnosis that doesn't either help you or help your future. Our team consists not only of the incredible Dr. Pasqualeone, who's considered one of the top 10 best neurologists in the world, but also of an amazing nurse practitioner, geriatrician, and neuropsychologist, who all aim to bring you a step closer to that correct diagnosis. But our help and our aid does not end after a diagnosis. We have several treatments available that you can pursue to help your memory and cognition, such as being prescribed medication, trying a new drug trial, or brain stimulation. Some of you might know the Marcus Institute and the amazing research work that they do. They have studies that use non-invasive brain stimulation to help people with their memory and mobility for getting around. Unfortunately, if you've taken part in a research study, you'll know that once your participation is over, you can't get that intervention anymore, even if you benefited from the treatment. Or maybe you tried to participate in a research study and you were ineligible for it. Dr. Pasqualeone, however, is an expert in the field of brain and brain stimulation, and he himself runs some of those studies, but he's brought those ideas and that treatment to the Wolk Center. And their patients can continue after a research study, they can get in with us and have that similar treatment that helped them. Or if you were interested in it and you couldn't participate in a study, you can get it here instead. Our brain stimulation here is focused on improving your cognitive reserve, which has shown to help prevent or delay disease progression and prevent from it getting to a point of dementia. We also have TMS, which is focused on improving depression or anxiety that is medication resistant for patients. So medications don't work, there is still another option. One theme all of our clinicians echo is to focus on what matters the most to you. Our palliative care specialist, Dr. Cora, most especially so. She empowers patients to share what matters the most to them and how they want to live their life over the next several years. And they can share those dreams and those hopes with their families while they still can. She also has family meetings with their caregivers and families where they have the chance to express their concerns. We have a psychiatrist who helps patients with depression, anxiety, and managing their medications. And we also have an incredible social worker who helps get resources for patients, families, and caregivers, refers them to help get them into the programs and the support that they need. She also runs a very popular caregiver support group that a lot of people take advantage of. Finally, there's one more offering that we're planning to start up in a couple of months, but I'll let you know about it now. So with the combined efforts of our neuropsychologist and wellness coach, myself, we're opening up a group focused on cognitive rehabilitation. This is for people to follow a cognitive prescription given by the neuropsychologist and work together to help improve their memory, cognition, problem solving, and more than that. So even if they're seeing difficulties and having trouble with things, there are ways that you can turn that around, especially with us here to help show you that way and empower you through it. So now I'd love to share with you a little bit more about our lifestyle coaching in particular. So, quick question I'd like all of you to ask yourselves. Are you currently living your best life? Are you happy with absolutely everything in your life? Are you at your optimal health and well-being? If you're not, I'm sure you have a few things you want to prioritize for your health and well-being over the next few months or the upcoming year, especially with New Year's resolutions. I am a certified health and well-being coach, and I have a background in brain health, especially here at the Wolk Center. And my role as a wellness coach is to help you prioritize what matters most to you along your journey to finding optimal health and well-being. I really want to get you back to living your best life, whatever that means for you right now. This is done through changes to your lifestyle. I'm sure you all know having the right diet, being physically active, and a good overall lifestyle is beneficial for your body or your heart. But did you know it's also beneficial for your brain, which is arguably one of the most important parts of our body? As I mentioned earlier, over 45% of dementia cases can either be delayed or outright prevented just by leading a healthy lifestyle. You might think it's all based on genetics, or maybe any change that you make now isn't going to have an impact. But science shows that that's not how it works. When a lifestyle change is made with someone who's even having trouble now, 40% of those people do not progress towards a dementia when they otherwise would have, and they can live their best lives for longer. So this is how my coaching sessions work in a nutshell. First, I'll ask you some questions about your lifestyle and physical health during a brain health assessment. This shows how different factors such as your education, physical health, diet, mental health, and others impact your brain. After that, we'll meet 8 times for your coaching sessions. Those are usually about once a week, once every 2 weeks. We will discuss what matters most to you and your priorities for your health and well-being, in addition to planning out small steps each week that will lead you in that right direction on your path. These coaching sessions are completely individualized to you and are collaborative in nature. I want to work with you to find a solution for you instead of telling you some generic formula for wellness. You can get that off the internet. So before I wrap this up, I'd like to tell you a quick story of a patient of mine whose life has recently changed through coaching. When he was younger, he played the violin. He actually played the violin on stage with Aretha Franklin and performed with her. Now, however, he has a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment, and he has a lot of arthritis in his shoulder, in his hands, and he can't play that violin anymore. And he has an intense love for playing music and the joy it brings him, and his current life without playing music in it was just dreary. And that only made his diagnosis and his brain health outlook dreary as well. And it would look worse over time. Together in our coaching sessions, he found that while the violin may not be possible for him anymore, he can play other instruments and continue his love of playing music through playing the guitar and the mandolin. And now he's playing in a musical group. When I last saw him, he was way more optimistic about not just his life in general, but about everything, about his outlook. And he was ready to take on just about anything. A more personal example is my own mom. My mother was able to change her cholesterol levels, which I'm sure some of you can relate to, from being extremely high to the point of needing a medication to bring it down. She didn't want to have to do that. And so she was able to change up her lifestyle just a little bit. And over a few months, she brought it down low enough so that it's in the normal range and she doesn't need that medication anymore. And that also benefits her brain health too. So while everyone has a different focus on what matters the most to them and lifestyle changes that they want to prioritize, it's usually very difficult to do it on your own without support or a clear path out in front of you. I aim to work with you in not just the creation of goals and why they're important to you, but also help light up and reveal that path in front of you to bring you closer to your best life. So this is just one of the many offerings at the Wolk Center for Memory Health. But if you are at all interested in what we offer or in the wellness coaching, I do highly encourage you to reach out. I believe we'll be sending out some flyers that has some contact information after this meeting. So you can reach out by phone or by email, or I can write your name down now and give you a call if that's what you'd prefer. So please, any questions? I see, Charles, you just raised your hand.
Go ahead, Charlie. I'll manage that.
So do you have to be referred to the Wolk Center for issues, or how is it just a walk-in kind of concept? That's number one. And number two is it covered by insurance, and how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you a little bit more. So the Wolk Center is an outpatient, so it's just like any other specialty doctor's clinic. So you would, if you want their regular services, need to be referred by typically your primary care provider. You don't need to go to your primary care for memory concerns and then go over. A lot of times they'll give you a referral just because you're concerned. But everything at the Wolk Center, with the exception of a few treatments, are covered by insurance. So neurologist visit, geriatrician visit, all of that is covered by insurance. Unfortunately, the wellness coaching that I've just mentioned, that is private pay. Insurance does not cover coaching right now, as beneficial as it is. And so that would be something that we would discuss for private pay.
Thank you.
Hey, Barbara, did you have a question?
It was answered. I answered it.
Any other questions? Okay, then everybody will look forward to receiving your contact information in case they want to sign up. Thank you very much for a very comprehensive presentation about a subject that I certainly didn't know anything about. We'll see you all next week. It'll be the day after Christmas, the second day of Hanukkah, and we are having a chat. See you then.